Let's welcome to the show Erika Sanzi from Parents Defending Education. Erika, it's great to see you. So, now we've got GOP Senators Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Marsha Blackburn. They sent a letter to the Attorney General Merrick Garland saying, okay, you're aiming massive federal firepower at parents allegedly threatening school boards, but your son-in-law is the co-founder of this profitable big business, Panorama. It got at least $12 million worth of contracts from at least 22 school districts across the country. What is this toxic agenda they're selling on for children?
So Panorama Education does quite a few things. In fact, the survey that goes out to my children once a year and all students in the state of Rhode Island is administered by Panorama. So one of the things that they do is they create and administer what have become quite intrusive surveys to children. In my state, a 6th grader would take the same one as a 12th grader, so 11-year-olds are answering very intrusive questions about their sexual orientation, their gender identity, and again, the terms on these surveys are often terms with which these children are not familiar at all. And then there's also a lot of questions around issues about race. And again, and then Panorama also peddles quite a bit in what's loosely called diversity, equity, and inclusion. And unfortunately, those words have been hijacked to mean the shaming, to be honest, of whiteness. They use the term whiteness a lot. And they make the case that white supremacy exists in all institutions in our country, and therefore they need to be dismantled.
Okay, so who appointed them, the experts? How dare they be so intrusive and arrogant in stepping into what belongs to parents? It is the parents' purview to deal with whatever their children is going through, not these, strangers, pushing these surveys on 6th graders, talking to them about their sexual orientation. That is so wrong, and it's such a violation of their safe space. I thought they were all about safe spaces, and now they're shoving this into the classrooms. Can you imagine growing up with this and the pressure with kids already, what they have to deal with the poison being poured at them on social media, and now this? So how is this going to be stopped?
Well, I think that exposing it is really important. And even though right now it's quite partisan in terms of who's pushing back on this, beginning to ask questions and investigate, but among parents, the pushback is extremely bipartisan. And I think that that's going to be a very, very important part of this. The screeners and the surveys, I have to say, actually resemble what we as parents fill out at the pediatrician's office. So to your point about who made them the experts, the reality is they're very far out of their lane. And while they will often use terms like research-based and evidence-based, when you ask for the evidence and the research, they're not able to provide anything meaningful or anything compelling.
They got a lot of nerve. There should be hearings on this. Everybody condemns harassment and threats, right? We hear you. Everybody condemns harassment and threats. That's not good, right? But now the White House is intending to intimidate parents across the country into silence when parents are saying, listen to us. We're seeing pornography in our school libraries. We don't want it. And the parents are really upset about that. Harassment is already a crime in these states. If parents are threatening, then call the local police. Why put the FBI, the DHS, National Security Division meant to investigate terrorists into strategy sessions with local law enforcement? I mean, you know what I mean? So this is so out of the, you're right, the term is out of their lane. Who are these so-called experts doing this to our school children?
Well, that's the other thing, right, is that they give a training or a professional development for a few hours to teachers, and then they're expected to be able to, I don't know, interpret this data. And then what happens is the data gets stored by the company. Parents have no access to it except if they're looking at it in the aggregate. But then the school uses that data to justify the decisions that it's making around its programming.
So they're causing their own collapse of the school system. Parents are just going to pull their kids out. And the thing with Panorama, they're telling local school boards and local activists, hey, we'll show you how to use taxpayer money to get, our stuff inside school boards. That's what's also going on. Erika, I'm so sorry. It's really, go ahead, final word.
I was just going to say, not only are they laying out a strategic plan to get it into the schools, but they are teaching activists how to make sure that COVID money gets spent on these programs.
Unreal. Erika, we'll have you back on. You're a terrific guest. It's good to see you.